Hello, everyone, and welcome back. Today we're looking at the Tavark Scout from the Romulan Star Empire. Unfortunately, I am not able to get a picture of this, so uh, it's kind of hard to really encompass what this really is going to look like. We do have a little bit of a description here, and this comes to us from D6 Holocron. Looking down here at the write up that we have, so the Tavarik class was a type of scout fielded by the Romulan Star Empire, if I can only speak here this morning, during the 23rd century. Ship Recognition Manual, Volume 4, Starships of the original series era. So we're talking about the original series style craft. So I'm going to guess that this is one of them from the early Romulan Federation War, where very few people actually saw the ships, but it was kind of mentioned. So the Tavar consisted of a shaft like main hull with a command hull on the forward end and the pylons to the port and starboard connecting the warp nacelles. When we think of the original bird of prey, that wasn't a cylindrical. This was, more of an oval shape and a kind of contoured back. So this is different from that. The Tavark was not designed for long range missions. Instead, it was typically used to patrol the Romulan neutral zone and uh, uh, explore the immediate area just beyond the Romulan space here. So this comes from the Ship Recognition Manual, Volume 4, Space Dock, pages 115 and 116. So this isn't from Memory Alpha, Memory Beta, or anything else. So really, this is a mentioning in a ship recognition manual. That's all we have. So they did do the stats. So I do think it's appropriate to try and give it a couple minutes of theme to bring it to light, because unfortunately, these are ships that we don't typically get to see, and so much more on this one because we don't have a picture. I was trying to look it up. Anytime I see a Romulan scout vessel, it's one of the ones that we see from the Next Generation or Deep Space Nine. So we're kind of lacking here for visual representation for it, so we just have to kind of picture this thing in our head. Now, uh, this is going to be at Starfighter scale. We're going to have a length of 83.42 meters and a width of, it was originally saying, I was thinking this was a different ship, so I kind of messed with this a little bit. It only has a width of 24.78 meters and a height of 17.63 meters. So it's not the biggest ship in the world here, being a small scout class vessel. It is roughly about 55,000 metric tons, and it's a ship size category 3. So this is going to use a space transports skill set for operating this because of the starfighter scale and the size that it is. It does have an autopilot of 2D plus 2, has a crew of 12, can be run with a skeleton crew of 1 with a plus 10 difficulty. We do have enough room on board for 8 passengers and enough cargo capacity for 25,000 metric tons. There is enough consumables on board for about a year, and keeping in line with the original series, the warp drive cruise speed is going to be a warp 5. We have a maximum warp of 5.8 and a maximum rated warp uh, speed of 6.5 for 12 hours. Of course, we're going to have a nav computer, which is pretty standard for most of the ships that we see in Star Trek here. We do have a maneuverability of 1D plus 2, a space speed of 7.5. This does have a hull of 4D and a shields of 1D plus 2. So these, it's not bad for other starfighter scale ships, but once we start looking at it for, if you're fighting a capital class, just remember you lose 2D in your hull for the size adjustment here. So if you're taking damage, you're going to lose 2D when they attack you, or you just give the other ship an extra 2D for the attack damage. So when you look at it in that regard, that 4D kind of is not very good against other capital class. But seeing that this is a starfighter scale, if it's firing against another starfighter scale craft, I think it would be pretty decent and hold its own. All right, our sensor packet here, we have passive scanning going out to 4 kilometers with a 1D bonus, an active scan going out to 12 kilometers at a 1D plus 2 bonus, and active search being able to go out to 15 kilometers at a 2D bonus, and a focus search out to 500 meters at a 2D plus 2 bonus. Now, this does have a cloaking device, and if it is cloaked, it gives a plus 2D plus 1 difficulty to try and detect the ship. We do have one Type 5 disruptor on board, has a forward firing at a 120-degree arc, has only a single crew member to fire it. Fire control is 1D plus 1, has a rate of fire of 2, so it can shoot twice in one round with a 6D damage. We do have a plasma torpedo launcher. It does have a fire control of 1D plus 1. We have 15 plasma torpedoes on board with a spread of 1, so you're only shooting one plasma torpedo per round, and it does 6D plus 1 damage. It has 2 Class Beta tractor beams, one forward and one aft, to try and tow other ships. Has a fire control of 1D plus 1 and a strength of 6D to try and hold that ship to where we need it to go. Miscellaneous stats here, we have crew quarters. So we have 20 Spartan beds on board. We have 2 basic beds. There are 4 decks on this ship. We have 8 escape pods with a capacity for personnel on each pod. This was commissioned in roughly 2279 by Earth Reckoning. We do have a transporter on board for a 6-person capacity, an emergency transporter with a 14-person capacity, and 4 cargo transporters with 200 kilogram capacity. We also have 30 probes on board. So that really rounds out the ship that we have before us, which unfortunately, I really do not have a picture. I'll see what I can find a little bit more, but that really looks to be about it. It's an interesting ship to be able to throw out for any of the original series Star Trek captains out there, to be able to go up against a ship like this. It may cause some issues. The damages that are being put out here, even if you adjust them up, saying I'm firing at a capital class, just keep in mind your disruptor is going to do 4D damage, and your plasma torpedo would do a 4D plus 1 damage going against a capital class. And I believe that the Enterprise or the Constitution class for this time frame would have been roughly about like a 4D, or maybe a little less than that, maybe a 3D. So this is still going to be pretty threatening for an original series class uh, Constitution uh, starship. So with that, thank you so very much for joining me today. It's a shorter video, but we don't have a lot of extra stuff here. So we can only kind of go off the one. It's nice when I can bring it up on Daystrom. Daystrom does not have anything on this. So it's a lot of hunting and pecking, just trying to find what I can find. And I really didn't find anything outside of what D6 Holocron has for us here today. So hope you're having a wonderful day, and we'll see you in the next video.